12 bills, and Congress is passing them in the next 10 days. I have all the details and exactly what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. I know in this video, I do want to focus on the 12 bills Congress is currently working on and how they must be passed within the next 10 days. They certainly have their work cut out for them, and I also do want to talk about the importance of all of these 12 bills, as well as the consequences if they do not pass them, as there is a deadline out there, just a few weeks. Let's get into it and talk about the details as well as what is going on and what this all means for everybody here, right here in the community, as well as everybody across the entire country. Really fast before we do, thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe right down below the video. It's totally free to do so, and I'm here for you right by your side every single day, watching the latest details, hitting the wire, doing all the necessary research, and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay posted on what's actually going on right now, as things are changing very, very rapidly, and it's a very, very busy time. A lot of things are happening, and again, I'm here for you every single day to keep you informed, to advocate on your behalf, and again, to point out anything you can possibly grab and or take advantage of. So again, thanks for being here. I truly do appreciate your support. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get into it and talk about Congress, the work they have to do, a dozen bills. That's a lot to do for them in 10 little days, and let's see if they can actually pull it off. Do you think they can? I'd love to see your comments down below in the comment section. I'm going to go ahead and say no, okay? That's just my vote as of right now. My vote is no. They don't get it done within the next 10 days. Maybe I'll be wrong about that. I'm not really sure. Only time will tell, but let's talk through the details about this. All right, so here's what it comes down to. Congress finally returned from their long 5-week vacation. Wow, what a life, right? Could you imagine getting paid a couple $100,000 a year to go on vacation a lot throughout the year and even have a 5-week vacation at the end of summer? Not bad, right? Well, that is the livelihoods of lawmakers. So now that they are back from their summer recess, they only have 10 working days left between now and the end of the fiscal year. That's it. 10 working days, okay? This is nuts, okay? Anyway, so here's what happens. The new fiscal year obviously begins on October 1st. You've heard me talk about that many, many times before in other videos. Well, as a result of that, they need to pass a dozen bills. These are the appropriation bills that they do every single year for federal government spending and basically the allocations for the next year, okay? They have to get this done by the new fiscal year. Now, realistically, the last handful of years, they have not done that. In fact, they've blown right on by the deadline. They pass a stopgap bill, or otherwise known as a CR, or continuing resolution, which keeps the federal government funded so that it doesn't go into a government shutdown. And they've done that for the last few years here. And then usually the next, several weeks or the next few months afterward, they finally get this done. Well, we'll see if they actually get that done this year. But anyway, it's a dozen bills. Now, here's the thing. Before they left for recess, they passed one of the dozen bills. They still have 11 to go between now and the next 10 days before the fiscal year begins, okay? Now, obviously, it's not 10 calendar days, but rather it's 10 working days. Again, rough life for them, right? Wow. Anyway, we've got a lot more than 10 days here on the calendar, but that's only the amount of time that they're actually going to be working is 10 actual days. So anyway, the details about this are, if they do not get something passed here, if they do not get all of these bills passed, determining the federal funding for the next fiscal year, and if they do not pass a continuing resolution keeping the federal government funded, we could be looking at a government shutdown. Well, what does that look like? Let's talk through the details about that really quickly here. The last federal government shutdown that we had was back in 2018. Okay, so what is that, 5 years ago? Yeah, 5 years ago was the last time that we had a federal government shutdown, and it did not last all that long. However, there are some reports coming out right now. I was just reading about it right before filming this video, and they were talking about maybe if they don't come together on a deal, we could be looking at a federal government shutdown of potentially days, weeks, or even a couple months, depends on the severity of it. Okay, well, what does that mean for everybody now? It means that there would be limited government services. We all know this, right? However, I do know that there are a lot of you here in the community who receive fixed income benefits from Social Security, retirement, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA benefits, things like this. I know there's a lot of you here in the community that are concerned about it. If they shut down, does that mean my benefits stop? No, no, and no. You don't need to worry about it, okay? Your benefits will not be ending. However, there could be some delays in services, like if you call Social Security, rather than sitting on hold for 6 hours, you might need to sit on hold for 8 hours. Well, are we shocked? Not really, right? If you go into your local Social Security office, rather than standing in line for 4.5 hours, you might need to stand in line for 6.75 hours. Okay, not much of a change there as well, right? So my point is, obviously I'm being a little bit sarcastic here, but probably not too far-fetched, right? We all have known the drill here. We've all gone through this many times. It's, yeah, kind of annoying, right? But anyway, as far as your checks flowing, no, they will not be stopping. But we could see limited government services in the event of a government shutdown, okay? Now, here's the thing. I do not anticipate this happening. Could they potentially do this for political reasons and political negotiations? They could. Wouldn't be shocked to see that at all, especially with an election year looming here, 2024. We'll have to see here because they're all going to point the finger at each other. It's their fault. It's the other guy's fault, right? It's never their fault. It's always the other guy that's at fault, right? Anyway, my point is, we'll have to see what happens here. They only have a few more days to go. I would highly, highly anticipate we will see a continuing resolution passed for a short amount of time, whatever it happens to be. Maybe it's a couple weeks, maybe it's a month, maybe it's 2 months, I don't know. Usually what they do is they pass it for a short amount of time, they sit around and they twiddle their thumbs until the very last minute, like they've done all the time, and then they finally get something passed, or they push it out yet again, okay? Last year, to put it into perspective, last year, 2022, they did not get this done until right before Christmas. It was just a couple days before Christmas, like the very end of the year. And it was supposed to be done the end of September. So you can see right there, they were delayed, what is that, October? 3 months. They were delayed 3 months as far as how long they should have done that prior, okay? So here's what it comes down to. Now, will these bills, packages, proposals, things like this, will this impact us? Yeah, it will, okay? We don't know the details yet because they haven't even talked about it. They just returned from their vacation. They're probably still trying to, wear off whatever they did on vacation or whatever they're doing, right? So they're still trying to maybe figure out where they are. Hey, guys, I'm confused. Where am I? What am I doing here, right? So we'll have to see what actually happens here and what they're doing over the next few weeks here. But this is what it comes down to. And these are the dozen bills that they have to get done. Well, okay, fine. They've already done one. So hooray, guys, they've done one. So the next 11 bills that they need to get done in the next 10 days, okay? So they got to have a track record of more than one a day. That's pretty ambitious for them. So we'll have to see what happens. But again, it's all this big negotiation to see what happens here. And again, all of the results out of this will impact us in some way, shape, or form. And again, I don't know what that's going to be quite yet because we don't have enough details yet. Of course, I will continue watching all this very closely, and I'll bring you that information as we get it. So anyway, I want to bring this to your attention really quickly here. We could potentially be looking at a government shutdown. Again, I don't want to say for sure that we will or not. I don't really know. They always threaten that, right? We always see the information coming out. Every single year they do the same thing. They come forward and say, if we don't get our demands, if the other side doesn't meet us in the middle, if the other side doesn't meet our demands, we're going to close it down. And then they don't, right? It's all just a bunch of talk. It's the same old political game every single year. Either way, I'm here for you in any way that I can be. I will continue to watch this very closely. I will continue to advocate on your behalf, which, by the way, I'm working on a letter. Yeah, it's about time to write a letter, right? It's been a few months here. I've just the other day, I was in a video reaching out, and I said, hey, do you think it's about time to write a letter? And I saw a number of comments coming in saying, yes, it's please time to write a letter. It's time to let them know what's going on here, especially with the election year coming up like this. We know these politicians and everybody like this wants to do whatever they possibly can to thread the needle to tell us everything that we want to hear, as well as potentially get a few things done to help the people, ultimately to get some votes, right? So anyway, we'll see what happens. But either way, I want to bring this to your attention really quickly. The dozen bills that have to get done here, again, we could potentially be looking at a government shutdown. And no, this will not impact your Social Security checks whatsoever, okay? It could affect some of the other aspects that I talked about a minute ago, but other than that, it's not going to impact your checks. You will still get paid, as always, no change there, okay? So please do not worry about that. I know it's a major concern here for a lot of you here in the community. In fact, just a few days ago, I was out talking about this again in a video that was titled something like Delayed Checks for Social Security. Check out that video. But again, in that one, I was also reiterating, don't worry about it. There's laws in place that they must continue to pay beneficiaries even in the event of a government shutdown or without a deal on a debt ceiling, okay, like we saw earlier this year. Anyway, hope this helps you out. Again, just want to bring you the details so you can stay posted on what's going on here. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. There's the big button down there. Make sure to hit that if you have not done so. Also, share the video and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, take care, and I'll continue to keep you posted on the Drama Fest, the soap opera right here in front of us, and I'll keep you posted. Either way, enjoy your day, and catch you again later in the next